I'd like to introduce Libby from MC Saatchi Mobile. So we were going to hear about mobile from Telefonica. Now we're going to hear about mobile from someone else. So hopefully it should be satisfactory to you.
Hi. I'll give you a very brief overview because no one probably knew I was going to be here. Essentially, MC Saatchi Mobile, we are a full-service mobile agency. A very large portion of what we do is mobile media planning and buying. So we're working with very large volumes of data, mobile strategy, and we do a lot of development work as well. I won't go into any more detail than that because that's not what we're here to talk about. But essentially, I'm going to take you through a few slides on the impact on mobile of mobile on big data. My role, so everyone knows, at MC Saatchi is business director. I kind of do a bit of everything. So there's not really a exact role, but I look over after the global business. And excuse the word data, I'm Australian, I don't say data. So the main thing that we are talking to clients on a daily basis about a hell of a lot of figures, statistics. We work with some of the largest e-retailers in the world. And the main thing that we are trying to tell them is, look, it doesn't have to be scary. We're coordinating a lot of their data. We're also working with a lot of marketing data and marketing research and really trying to figure out how that can actually be used in their day-to-day marketing strategies. Data for us means insight. So, I mean, from that very awful slide we had before with just spreadsheets and data, this is what a lot of clients think that we're working with on a daily basis. Really what we're trying to turn that into, and we're trying to get our clients to turn that into, is usable insights and meaning. Really, when we are talking about data, we like to think about it as, and I like to think about it as, it's information on people's behaviours and their actual, rather than their actual beliefs. It's what they're actually doing on the day-to-day, which is where mobile becomes really powerful because we can actually start to track exactly what people are doing on a day-to-day. And for us, it's about customers, employees, prospects for your business, not what has been posted on Facebook or what people are searching on Twitter, because for us, that is really, and for businesses, that's really what they want to tell you. It's not exactly what they're doing. So we're about exactly what they're doing, behaviour, and that's for us is where big data is really relevant from a marketing perspective. It's the one thing that I always like to think about when I think of big data, to break it down to make sense of it for me. It's those little data breadcrumbs. We've seen those ridiculous figures that I don't even know what a tera, mega, whatever other byte is. It's those little data breadcrumbs that each person in the world is leaving behind as they conduct their day-to-day business. It's those little bits and pieces, and for us, as marketers and working with business and decisions, that's the really, really valuable thing for us. I'll take you to the next slide. One of the proliferation of smartphones, when we're talking about what you're doing and where those little bits of data are coming from, mobile is playing a massive role. Smartphones is really playing a massive impact in how that data is being collected and how that data is being used. Mobile devices have the capability to learn its owner's habits and preferences, track location, hold applications. The data is tailored to that particular user's needs, and really then it becomes for businesses far more valuable. We're able to pinpoint and target users through various mobile channels based on what language they have, their default language on their smartphone, where exactly they are within geofence locations, what applications they have on their phone. So are they interested in fashion, consumer-based, or products, or exactly what they're doing? Do they like to travel a lot? When they run, because they might have a Nike app, which takes me to the next slide, they might have the Nike Plus app on their phone, and we might be able to tap into that and actually find out how far they're running each day. And businesses like Nike are using this information to actually go to a consumer and say to them, well, actually, now you might be ready for a new pair of shoes because we know you've done 750 kilometres, not me. Other people, so they're able to use that data in a ridiculously targeted way because we're actually starting to track this all through the mobile device. Companies like Amazon, a really, really great example for a company that is using data incredibly well. They're now storing ridiculous volumes of data about what we're buying, what our purchase behaviours are, when we're buying, what time we're buying. The race for storing as many credit card details as companies can is out there at the moment with companies like Amazon, Google Wallets. You've got the race for all of the NFC near field communication debate going out there at the moment. So everyone's trying to get as much data as they can, and a lot of this is coming through mobile. I've got the Wi-Fi symbol up there because we're now even able to target consumers and brands and consumer mobile products able to target consumers based on whether they're looking at their device through a Wi-Fi network or a 3G network. I was at an event today, and we had a company that was literally just serving advertisements to Mobile Marketing Live to those people within that event on particular mobile devices. So we're really able to get very targeted because of the mobile device and because of the information and the data that's being stored on them. Closer look at the mobile market before we move into how we actually can utilise that data and how many companies are doing this quite well. Some of you probably know these statistics. We live and breathe it on a daily basis. In the UK, we've got smartphone penetration at 52%. So it really is the smartphones that are driving, the really, really juicy mobile data. This peaks at 75% for those between 18 to 29, which I would like to fall into. On average, we've got about 25 apps installed on our device. Now, not just our device is storing data, and then through the networks, each one of those applications is storing data, and various companies are sharing this data. We're able to access, as a mobile agency, a hell of a lot of data that various organisations' applications are storing and producing. So it's a very powerful, 25 applications on your phone is quite powerful. And 9 of those are actually being used every 30 days. 8 of those are paid for. So people are, this is something that they're really quite involved in. 78% of UK consumers said they wouldn't leave home without their smartphone. So when we're thinking about big data being all of these little bits and pieces of data that of each person getting tracked around the world, 78% of consumers here in the UK are not going out without their phone. That means that we're actually getting a very good proportion of this data through mobile. I'm not going to read all of those petabytes and megabytes and the like, but the main thing from this slide that I find really fascinating is global mobile data traffic from 2011 to 2015. The amount of data that's actually getting transmitted is predicted to increase 947%. So it's ridiculous amounts in terms of what's actually transmitting at the moment and where we're going to be in 2015. I can't understand how that's going to be, but as everyone knows, we're moving away from a world that is books. We're consuming books on a mobile device. We're consuming newspapers on a tablet. TV is now integrated with tablet with the whole second screen debate. So mobile devices are now becoming commonplace. The really interesting thing for companies and for marketers, and where we really work with our clients on, is the fact that this data that we're actually able to get now is incredibly rich. It's demographic, it's usage, it's where they are, it's what they're consuming, it's their social behavioural aspects. That's the really exciting stuff. So how many organisations are actually positioned well to use this data? Again, I hear myself saying data, and I'm starting to make me cringe because I now know you're all saying data in your head, so I apologise. 91% of senior corporate marketers, I don't know who here is in a marketing role, believe that successful brands are using data to drive marketing decisions. What is really incredibly interesting is only 39% that say their own company's data is collected, say their company's data is collected too infrequently or is not real-time enough. So there are a lot of people that know this is an incredibly important thing, and a lot of our clients, and we deal with some of the biggest brands around, know this data is incredibly important, but yet they don't know what to do with it, or they can't actually access it, or there's areas within the organisation that won't share it, and it's incredibly difficult for us to get our hands on some of our clients' data. Is near impossible. Large firms are much less likely to collect new forms of digital data like mobile data, and that's only 19% of large firms that are actually collecting mobile data, and that's where a lot of the juicy stuff is. Whereas people are still collecting, and this is last year's data, but people are still collecting traditional customer surveys, 3-4 times more at 74%. So that's what's still driving a lot of marketing decisions, which is quite scary. One of the big things, the big questions, the last thing that I really wanted to touch on tonight is how can we actually turn all of this data, if we've got it, into insight. Let me just, I had a very good thing, I don't have the quote with me, but I think the most important thing here, I've said here that data must be transformed into information, and then that information must be transferred into knowledge. And I don't believe that it's the people that sit in the corner. We have a team of 60 guys that literally work on optimising mobile media campaigns, and they are literally just the figures guys. They work off the spreadsheets, they play with numbers, and that is incredibly important. But what we have more importantly in the agency, and what we try and get our clients to see as much more value, is the storytelling and the cleverness. It's actually bringing in insights, it's figuring out what this data means in terms of stories, in terms of what it means, how you can actually put me as a consumer into a pigeonhole, how you know how I'm going to react, where I'm going to be, how you can actually reach me, what I care about. It's not just about the actual data, it's getting people in the organisation that can turn that data through storytelling and cleverness into meaningful insights, and bridging that human gap between computers and every day. Steps to do with big data, I'll fly through these because I don't want to spend too much time. The main things that we work with clients on, and we try and get clients to do, is really, it's all about identifying what you've got within your organisation, whether it be limited or whether you've got a lot there, and actually finding where it is within the organisation, figuring out where the gaps are. So a lot of organisations are sitting on a massive amount of data, a massive amount of knowledge themselves, but there are a lot of gaps. Some of that might be in terms of the insight, some of that might be in terms of generating the meaning, or you might just be missing on one of your product bases. We do a lot of work in the retail space. There might not be a data set on a particular product set. So figuring out where your gaps are, and then making sure that you align your strategic choices around the data you've got, where the gaps are, and then how you actually want to move forward. So really identifying what you've got and what you need to do with it. Link data to metrics developed for ROI. We're all about it's all about performance. It's all about return on investment, and there's no point in using data if you're not going to have a return on investment or a business case for it. And we're in the marketing and advertising business, so if you put $1 in, you want to get $1 back. Utilise data to inform rather than confirm decisions. This is very straightforward. You know, it's in terms of new products. In terms of your communication strategies, in terms of new markets to launch in. With mobile, we a lot of what we do is work with big organisations to determine where their best market, their best new market might be, or emerging market. So looking at countries like Bulgaria, and what the smartphone penetration is there, and where that's going to grow, and what the people are doing there, and that can inform some informed decisions. Data has taken over intuition. You've got no excuse for not knowing your customers. You can actually get access to the data, and you've just got to use it. Everyone now, the majority of us, see a lot of smartphones here at the moment. We can get the data. You've just got to use it, and really it comes down to using that data to personalise marketing efforts to customers, because we know where they are, we know what they're looking at, we know what they care about, and it's in the palm of your hand. Last slide is really on how big data will impact future forecasting and trends, and I'm looking at this from a marketing perspective. I know there's a few people looking at it from different perspectives here, but essentially we will see. We're expecting to see radical customisation, constant experimentation, because we can, and we've got the data to play with, and that will move into new business models evolving. Based on really understanding consumers and the data around that. We'll be looking at where we're expecting to see a lot more accurate forecasts, which really means that brands can move even closer to their target audiences, able to find them and really get into their pockets. We're having access to a wider range of the population. When I say talking about emerging markets, we're actually understanding emerging markets far better than we ever were able to before, because we're actually able to get the information out of them because of what they're doing on a mobile phone. South Africa is a massive market in that space, and we're really getting, for the first time, we're getting some really good understandings of niche areas in emerging markets that we never knew about, and able to target them. Target customers' current and future preferences and habits. We're able to draw amazing trends from mobile data about what people actually care about, and we can try and start to predict what they're going to do and what they want to get from you as an organisation. And then one of the last ones is answer customers' demands before they've actually been voiced. It used to always be about waiting for a customer to actually have a complaint. now we're able to see if they're where they're having frustrations in your in the process. If they're going onto a mobile website, where are they dropping off? If they are shopping in your store, they then go onto a tablet and have a look at a product. They then look at your application online. We're able to see where they're falling down, where they're actually spending, where they're not spending, what their actions are, and it's starting to get really quiet, and we're able to answer their questions before they even know that they actually have the questions. In conclusion, what I would say is the faster we can actually get the information back, and this is where mobile is playing the biggest role from our perspective, it's being able to get us that data back incredibly quickly. We're not relying on panel-based data or web data where people are actually at a PC. We're getting real-time data. The faster we can get that information back means the faster we're able to recognise trends, recognise behavioural changes, and from that we can actually begin the learning cycle and make changes as an organisation quickly. Because information is power, and we're all trying to reach the right people at the right time and get them to do what we want them to do.